Have you ever wanted to build a computer network right from scratch? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to build it, we're going to configure it, and we're going to watch it come to life. And you know what the best part is? We're going to do all of this in about 5 minutes with a tool that is completely free. All right, let's dive in. So if you're like me and you've thought about getting into network engineering, you probably hit the same wall I did right away. The gear is so expensive. I mean, trying to get your hands on actual physical routers and switches just to practice, it can seriously cost a small fortune. But what if I told you there's a way to do all of that without spending a dime on hardware? This is where a little magic called Cisco Packet Tracer comes in. It's this awesome free simulation tool that's basically a virtual lab. You can build networks, configure them, you can even break them on purpose, and there's zero real-world cost or risk. It is the absolute perfect playground for learning this stuff. Okay, so before we jump into building, let's just take a quick look at our virtual lab and the incredible tool that makes this whole thing possible. So Packet Tracer is this really powerful piece of software, and it comes straight from Cisco. The best way to think about it, it's like a flight simulator, but for network engineers. It gives you this totally safe, virtual space where you can experiment with, well, everything, from simple connections to really complex setups. All right, our lab is officially open for business. Let's get our hands dirty. It's time to start assembling the virtual hardware for our brand new network. You won't believe how easy this part is. Building the layout is literally just dragging and dropping. Okay, first up, we'll grab a router. That's what's going to direct all our traffic. Then we'll add 2 switches to connect our devices to. And finally, we'll throw in a couple of PCs. After that, we just grab the virtual cable tool and connect everything together. Seriously, it's that simple. Okay, now pay close attention to these little colored dots here. These are the link lights, and they're super important. See how the connections from the PCs to the switches go from amber to green? That means they're up and running, all on their own. But look at the connection to the router. It's red. And that, my friends, is our mission. That red light is basically screaming at us, hey, I'm powered down and I need instructions. All right, this is where the real fun begins. It's time to step into the shoes of a network engineer. We're about to give our router its instructions. And we're going to do it using the command line interface, the CLI. So forget about fancy menus and buttons. This is how real engineers talk directly to the hardware. First command on deck is enable. You can think of this like the key to the entire kingdom. By default, the router only gives you a very limited look but don't touch kind of access, for safety. When you type enable, you're unlocking the door and elevating your permissions to privilege mode. This is where we get the power to actually make some changes. Okay, next up, we type configure terminal. This takes us another level deeper into what's called global configuration mode. This is basically us telling the router, all right, I'm done looking around, I'm ready to start changing how you actually operate. Now for a super simple but oh so important step, we've got to give our device a name. We just type hostname R1 and watch this. The prompt instantly changes from the generic router to R1. Trust me, when you're dealing with a network that has dozens of devices, good, clear naming is pretty much the first rule of staying sane. All right, the router is prepped and ready to go. Now it's time for the magic moment. We're about to give it an address and finally bring this connection to life. So if we were to take a peek at our connection status right now, this is what we'd find. The interface has no IP address, and its status is administratively down. That's just a fancy technical way of saying we haven't actually turned it on yet. Just like every house on a street needs a unique address, every single device on a network does too. So we use the IP address command to give it one. That first part is the router's specific address, and the second part, that's the subnet mask, which basically tells it how big the neighborhood is. It's how the router knows exactly where it lives. And here we go, the big one, the command that brings it all home, no shutdown. Now, I know it sounds a little backward, right? But this command is literally the digital version of flipping a giant power switch from off to on. And look at that. The second we hit enter, that red link light flips to amber, and then boom, solid green. That is it. Our router is officially online and connected. How cool is that? And just to be sure, if we go back and check that interface status one more time, we get our confirmation. Look at that. It now has its IP address, and the status has officially gone from down to up. Perfect. Okay, the lights are green, which is a great sign. But seeing something work is one thing. Proving it works is another. Let's send a little signal across our new network just to be 100% sure everything is talking like it's supposed to. So, how do we do that? We use the tried and true universal network test, the ping command. We're going to go to one of our PCs and ping the router's IP address. It's basically like shouting across the network, "Hey router, are you there?" And then just listening for it to shout back. And there's our answer, a 100% success rate. Every single little packet we sent out got a reply. This is the ultimate proof. Our brand new network is officially up and running. And just like that, mission accomplished. Seriously, think about it. In just a few minutes, with just a handful of commands, you went from a totally empty screen to a fully built, configured, and tested network. You now know the absolute fundamental building blocks for making a network work. So there you have it. Your very first network is officially online. You've laid the groundwork, you've flipped the switches, you brought it to life. But you know what? This is just the beginning. This is step one. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build next?